I've been looking at the 2026 interior design trends, and you know what? I'm not sure how I feel about them. There's some questionable things happening. Before we get started, this is purely based on my opinion. If you're into this stuff, go for it, okay? Nobody cares. It's your house, do your thing. I am a big fan of more mid-century vibes, a little bit of whimsy, creative vibes, as we can see. Keep in mind, this space is not done. I still need to figure out what's happening up here. Nothing can go there because that's where the wardrobe opens up to. That is as it is for now. These are some photos of my spaces that I've had. I've changed my room so many times, but you can know that I love interior design. Let's just get straight into it. I looked at 2 different articles. They were the only ones with anything interesting in them. The first is from ABI Interiors, and the second is from Vogue. So first off, ABI Interiors. First thing, color drenching. And I think we've been seeing this a lot as of recent. I get it, it's different, but I don't think we're gonna like it in approximately 25 seconds because you're gonna get so overwhelmed. It's just gonna be inundated in your face constantly. If you had that in your house, you'd go in there and be like, oh my gosh, it's just a blue room. Like, you get no peace, okay? So in one sense, I get it, and I think it works for more commercial spaces like a spa or a hotel, these kinds of things. But in your house, I think you're gonna hate it so quickly. I get that the pictures look stunning, but I think it's very rare that you're gonna like it for a long amount of time. And I think key thing in interior design is a level of timelessness. They talked a lot about colors, which it's nothing crazy. I think a lot of it is a shift from beige neutral tones. However, we're not straying too far from neutrals. Really, they're talking about autumn colors, earthy tones, but I think it's a lot of darker tones, which I think is great. Also talked about more primary colors, cherry red, blues. I feel like you can't really categorize trends with colors. I know you do. Obviously, we've had the pink and the greens, chartreuse, burgundy, very in at the moment. We love that. But I feel like you just have to be free with your interior design. You just have to choose the colors that you like and not be restricted by what the trends are saying. The other color that I want to talk about is the Pantone color of the year. Cloud Dancer. I mean, are we for real? Guys, this is giving minimal beige mom back in like 2020. We are done with this. Move on. They're all like, they're having a clean slate, we're having a fresh year. I'm like, shut up. Give me something fun. Lighten my spirit. Don't give me this freaking white beige. I did not like that. But that's besides the point. Blech. Next thing they're talking about is sunken lounges and banquette seating. So it's kind of integrating seating into the architectural aspect of the house. I think this has been around for a while. It's a bit of a 70s, mid-century vibe. And I think it's great. Like, if you can design this into your house, I think it's a really cool way to add dimension into a space and to do a bit of zoning, that kind of thing. I think the banquette stuff, that's really great, really cute, great for families, that kind of thing. The sunken seating, I like the concept a lot, but I just want you to think about when you get old, walking down steps is not going to be easy. Just keep that in mind. It doesn't have a great longevity on it for growing old, but for a majority of your time, it's fine. So just keep that in mind. Then we got antique integration. The past while, it's been a lot more of a focus on mid-century and kind of making your entire house very mid-century modern vibes, which I love, I'll admit that. But what this is more talking about is getting like old 1800s furniture and juxtaposing that next to a modern piece. And I think I like the concept of this. I feel like it's a cool way to kind of put things together and reuse some of this old furniture. And I'd be interested to see it being done more. I think people will get tripped up on it and just be doing mid-century stuff, which I don't feel like. Mid-century is vintage, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily antique. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see how people sort of do this. Silver metallic accents, I think we've been seeing this already. I'm seeing a lot of new like cafes and things putting this into their spaces and commercial spaces, which I find interesting. I think I like it, but I think it needs to be a tasteful amount. When you put too much, it becomes a bit stark, a bit clinical, and I don't know if that's really the vibe that we're going for. I like it more in like smaller design pieces, like a side table or a shelf, this kind of stuff, rather than a whole kitchen like this. Next is pattern layering. I think there's a lot of potential for this. I think this is not really a new thing. I think it's pretty timeless. I think we saw this a lot back in the 1800s in those old like Edwardian homes. Like there's a lot of patterns going on. I think you have to be very tasteful with it, and it has to be cohesive. You can't just chuck a floral print next to a checkerboard print. Like, there's got to be some way that it integrates and makes sense together. I think there is a chance that people are going to overdo it and it's just going to become a boom, boom, pow, like you can't relax in the space. So I think you just have to be very mindful and very intentional with it. But I also don't think it's necessarily a new trend. I feel like it's been going around forever. So last one on the ABI interiors article is mixed wood tones, which, yeah, again, I don't feel like it's that new. Maybe it is for other people. I think maybe the trend has been to have one wood tone throughout your house, all light wood or all dark wood or all like medium color wood. I personally always like to have a bit of variety, so I do have lights, darks. It's very self-explanatory. It just adds a bit of depth into your space and character. Moving on to Vogue. First up, lived-in spaces, which I find interesting to be put in as a trend, but it also kind of makes sense. The past few years, it's been so much about minimalism and like the beige couch, the beige coffee table with your styled coffee table books and your very bare shelves with just some decor on it. And it just feels unlived in and more like a show home. And so in a way, I do understand why they put that on there, because there is a bit of a shift of moving towards just living in your house, which sounds ridiculous to say, but people have been trying to pretend that they don't live in their house. I think your home is supposed to show your personality and your character, which means having your books out, having art up on the walls, having your journals and your pens and your paper and your trinkets that you've found. Nothing crazy. I'm not really big on the trinket shelves. That's a bit too much for me, but you know, it's tasteful amounts that show your personality and what you like, and that you actually exist in a space. So I support it, although I don't really think it's a trend. I think it's just a way of living and how we should be living life. Then they got textile wall hangings. I've been seeing this becoming a trend too, and I'm into it. I think people are getting more into hanging like tapestry, this kind of stuff, rather than having a big canvas on the wall, which I like too. Like it's all relatively timeless. I think people just want a little bit of a different texture and dimension in their house. I really like this. I would love to get something to put up here that's like tapestry vibes. But we'll wait and see for that to happen. Adding on to that one, another trend that they put on is big art. And I've also been seeing this, and I personally really love it. I think it adds so much character into a space and it doesn't overwhelm the eye. I think it just elevates the space so easily and so quickly. It doesn't have to be that complicated. It just takes the space to another level. It's luxurious in a way, in my opinion. I think there's a time and a space for smaller frames to showcase things, but I think if that's your whole house, it looks a bit odd. And I also think sometimes you need to fill the space on a wall. Not every wall. Some walls don't need it. Some big art makes a big difference. This one they had on there, I don't get. Occasional sofa. I don't get the point. The idea is like, it's sort of the old-timey like sitting room where you have the living room that you have for when you have guests over and you sit there and it's all pretty and nice. Essentially that's what it is. But that's not very practical in our day and age. We need something practical. Basically they're just saying have a very artsy, unusable couch. Which I get, but also it's a big piece of furniture. Who wants to spend thousands of dollars on a couch and not use it? You see what I'm saying? I can pass the occasional chair because it's smaller, it's maybe not quite as expensive, and maybe use it a little bit more often. And you can put it into a space that has your more used couch. Anyways, I think it's dumb. You can get a cool couch and you can still use it. It doesn't have to be occasional. Then we got detailed tiles, and I think this is a fun idea. I think you're just gonna have to be very intentional with what you pick. Essentially, it's about tiles that are designed, painted, and less just plain blocks. And I think it can be a really cool way to add a creative touch to a space. It feels very cottagecore-y, farmhousey to me. I think it has potential. I think you just have to make sure that you're gonna like it in the next 5 years still. So just be smart about it. Decorative detailing. This one is probably the one that I'm least keen on, other than Pantone's Color of the Year. Essentially this is about adding tassels and fringe details to things. And I get it, it's about adding texture and dimension and a bit of fun and whimsy into a space. But it just feels too on the nose for me, a little kitschy. I think this is just a me thing, but I don't know. I feel like it's just gonna become kind of gross after a while and not very pleasant. I think there's different ways to do it and add details that aren't tassel-y. It's just going to become very maximalist and a little bit too eccentric. That's the word I'm looking for. And I don't know. I don't like it. And the last one, probably the weirdest one that I also do not get, is a freestanding shower. I don't understand how this is an interior design trend. I mean, yes, you have to design a bathroom, but like, what? I think it's moving away from the classic sort of corner showers we've been seeing with like the built-in little shelf thing and sort of hidden away, and instead putting it front and center, glass around it. I don't think I really like it. I don't know why it's a trend. I think people are just trying to do something different, even though we found a way that works pretty well. I think the corner thing works pretty well with the more of a stone look. That's all the trends that I want to talk about for now. Let me know what you guys think, or any 2026 trends that you think are happening, and what your favorite interior design style or trend is. Mine is personally mid-century and chrome. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!